Fallen! What's up, fam of Liberty, and also everyone else who's watching this video who isn't following our channel for some unknown reason. It's your boy Big Sarge, or the artist formerly known as Admin Tim. I am the founder of the Sons of Liberty social media organization that has been steadily enraging MAGA fuckface ass clowns since 2015, and more recently, some super woke leftists who thought I was going to ignore all their bullshit too. If you saw us out in the streets at a protest for the first time or you're new to our channel, I know what you might be thinking despite this shirt. So let me go ahead and get this out of the way. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck neo-Nazi illegal immigrant Elon Musk. Fuck GOP politicians. Fuck every last one of these flaccid milquetoast Democrat politicians that aren't out there in the streets and in the trenches fighting for us tooth and nail. And also, fuck the billionaires, the wealth hoarders that have their fucking boot on the neck of just about every American citizen. Neither this channel nor its comment sections are a safe space for bootlicking simps for a Russian asset, a convicted felon, adjudicated rapist, Wish.com fascist oligarch, failed insurrectionist, wannabe authoritarian tyrant, piss baby at a birthday parade, or his sugar daddy, the world's biggest supervillain, thin-skinned, beta bitch-made man-child cuck from South Africa that nobody elected. Now that you know where I stand on things, if you're still here and you're not frantically rage typing into the comments box like a triggered snowflake who's ass mad about No Kings protesters vastly outnumbering the people at Trump's Wish.com Soviet parade, then maybe consider following this channel after you watch this video and deciding whether or not you like the cut of my jib and or this t-shirt that's available in the Sons of Liberty merch store. Before I talk about the subject of today's video, I'm letting you guys know that I have 2 live streams scheduled this week. Tomorrow, Tuesday, 17 June at 7 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel, we'll be talking with Malcolm Ritchie, a retired U.S. Army officer who is running for Congress in Ohio. And then Thursday, 19 June at 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll be talking with Deja Fox, who is running for Congress in Arizona. Deja has a significant social media presence and is only 25 years old. Before anybody starts asking about her experience, let me stop you right there. If Donald Trump can run for office with no experience, except at failure, then I better not hear anybody talking shit. Anyway, Deja went viral when she went face-to-face, toe-to-toe with Senator Jeff Flake on some bit of legislation on which he voted. She was also on Kamala Harris's campaign and brings a fresh, youthful perspective. Like Bernard Taylor and Kat Abu-Ghazaleh, she's been doing exactly what I've been saying y'all should be doing for like a whole year. It's time to drive out all these senile old white guys and replace them with people who are more connected to the average American citizen. Anyway, let's get on with the show. Fix bayonets! This weekend, there were 2 big events. One was Trump's birthday, the Army's birthday parade, in which it has never, ever done anything ever on its birthday, and I guarantee you there will not be a Marine Corps birthday parade, a Navy parade, an Air Force parade, or a Coast Guard parade. The jury's still out on space farce. They probably have a parade because they're a Trump creation, and we all know how much Trump loves any of his kids that aren't Ivanka, right? The other big event, which had massively more turnout and media attention, much to Trump's dismay, were the No Kings protests that were held in many major American cities and even a bunch of towns that aren't major metropolitan areas. I myself attended the Raleigh, North Carolina protests with some other Fam of Liberty members, and our crisis response teams were monitoring other Fam of Liberty members at about a dozen other locations. Hats off to admins Simi and Asia and the CRT members. Today's topic is going to be political violence. The Reich wing, yes I said Reich, loves to talk a lot of shit about how the left is violent. Elon Mussolini himself, upon learning of the shootings of Minnesota politicians, unironically posted about how extremely violent we are. That's rich coming from a drug-addicted deadbeat dad who got into a fucking fistfight in the White House and was subsequently told he was no longer welcome there. But I digress. So first I'm going to talk about the Minnesota assassinations. Not even half an hour after the assassinations went down, right-wing apologists in loser denial, backed by the Russian bot farm propaganda machine, were out in full force on social media and in the comment sections talking about how this guy was a liberal who was executing Democrats who had voted with Republicans. The only shred of proof that they had at the time was the alleged shooter was somehow appointed by Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to some committee. Remember the Trump cultist who allegedly tried to shoot the president? MAGA shut the fuck up real quick when the political leanings were front page news. Isn't it just fucking typical of triggered conservative snowflakes to make all these accusations whilst simultaneously ignoring the history of MAGA douchebags paddling a red MAGA douche canoe across the MAGA douche lagoon? I mean, they cry about perverts and pedos, but systematically ignore the numerous Republican politicians and conservative authority figures who are catching charges for child porn and trafficking kids. They cry about left-wing violence because one time some Antifa dude set something on fire, but they'll get down on their knees to slurp the smegma off the taint of January 6th insurrectionists. I could go on and on, but I think everybody gets the message. Except MAGA, who have the comprehensive skills of a lemming. I was alive in an era where Republicans loved America, where they didn't simp for terrorists, and they didn't embrace a petty tyrant who wants to be king for life. And it's fucking weird to watch them scrambling to cover for a domestic terrorist. Anyway, so the alleged assassin in the Minnesota Assassinations. Assassin is such a fun word to say, isn't it? I mean, it has two whole asses in the word. Assassin. Assassin. Why am I saying assassination and assassin so much? Because that's what it is. And I don't give a fuck who the victims or the targets were. If it was a Republican that had been assassinated, I'd still call it deplorable, even if it was a deplorable that was the assassin. Anyway, so the alleged assassin, it turns out, is a back-to-blue, Blue Lives Matter, hardcore religious fundy, pro-life, Bible-thumping zealot who voted for Trump. I am sure that you're just as shocked as I am to learn these details. Isn't it wild how people who claim to be pro-life are actually just a bunch of death cult weirdos who don't actually believe that all lives matter? I mean, the mother can die in childbirth as long as they rip the baby out of the womb in time to save it. And they're totally okay with killing doctors at an abortion clinic, right? Oh, I'm sorry, am I digressing again? And the right wing, yes, I said the right wing, had a talking point about how the alleged assassin shot these two politicians because they voted alongside Republicans. But what the assassin actually did was remove the thin Democrat majority in Minnesota's state Congress. He also had a manifesto and a target list of, surprise, more liberal politicians. So yeah, MAGA can shut the fuck up and go fuck itself, as per usual. The next thing that I'm going to talk about are the pardoned deplorables that are January 6th insurrectionists and other MAGA fuckface ass clowns. This past Saturday, a 21-year-old MAGA dipshit drove his SUV into a crowd of No Kings protesters who were crossing a parking lot at the end of a protest. They weren't blocking any streets or disrupting the flow of traffic, but this motherfucker decided he couldn't stand the sight of Americans exercising their First Amendment right to peacefully assemble and seek government redress, so he plowed his vehicle into a crowd because that is the MAGA playbook. Anyone that protests Trump must be murdered. So if you're one of those MAGA fuckface ass clowns and you're somehow still watching this video despite all the verbal abuse I'm heaping upon you, I would love to butt fuck your soul, so get on down to my comment sections and show me where is the lie in what I've been saying. Don't worry, I'll wait. Yes, that's a Cat Williams reference. Whilst you're furiously jackhammering your dick beaters over the keys like a hardcore internet commando, I'm going to continue my little tirade here. Actually, there were multiple hit and run incidents. The one I described is from Virginia, and the suspect is Joseph R. Checklick Jr. of Culpeper, Virginia. Guy looks like a Wish.com Slim Shady. Another incident occurred in Riverside, California, and that suspect has apparently been apprehended, but no information has yet been given out. And let's not forget the time that a white supremacist drove his car into a crowd of protesters in Charlottesville, Virginia, killing one person and injuring many others. I would also like to introduce you all to Sam Campbell, a Marine Corps veteran with 3 separate Facebook profiles. Sam also works for the Naval District Washington Fire Department, which means that he is a DoD civilian. Sam is a hardcore Trump supporter and a Kool-Aid drinking MAGA cultist. Sam thinks it's okay to murder civilian protesters who are exercising their constitutionally protected right to protest. Isn't it wild how veterans who are MAGA have betrayed their oath? I expect better behavior from a fucking Marine, and so should you. And for that matter, so should the Department of the Navy. So here's a call to action. Let's reach out to the Naval District Washington Fire Department and let them know about this jackass Sam Campbell. In Memphis, Tennessee, we had a cosplatriot. Yes, I said cosplatriot because if you don't love a good portmanteau, then are you even an American, bro? In Memphis, we had a cosplatriot and convicted January 6th insurrectionist, Joshua Hernandez, show up at the No Kings protest. In typical violent right-wing fashion, Joshua Lee Hernandez tried to incite violence and was shut down hardcore by the protesters who weren't having any of his bullshit. Joshua is such a fucking pussy, and I use the term as a diminutive form of the pejorative pusillanimous. Look it up. Josh is such a pussy that he had to call the police to get an extraction because he was afraid for his own safety. Protesters snatched his MAGA hat and threw it in the sewer and got up in his face. Now, Josh was dumb enough to throw a bunch of Sieg Heil salutes, and the cops saw it, so they threw him out. If it goose steps like a duck and it Sieg Heils like a duck, I think you know where I'm going with this. Now, I know what you're saying. But Sarge, not all January 6th insurrectionists are violent. Yes, they are. They stormed the U.S. Capitol. They took shits on the floor and pissed on priceless historical antiques and tried to murder politicians. Okay, yeah, sure, there might be like one or two that aren't violent, but I'm gonna be real with you, fam. A lot of these insurrectionists are fucking scumbags who are getting rearrested for other offenses like child porn, assault, murder, felony weapons charges, etc. And Joshua Lee Hernandez is no exception. Here's his mugshot for May 2025 arrest for domestic violence. That's how much of a piece of shit he is. Now, let's move on to Tampa, Florida. There's a reason that Florida man is a trope, and Evan Sergey Sargent is no exception to the rule. Look at this motherfucker. This dude's face looks like he drunkenly passed out at a frat party. This guy looks like fucking Timu Post Malone. Bro, can you imagine being fucking homeless and voting for billionaires to make themselves richer? This guy shit posted to TikTok that he was prepared to go to jail for catching assault charges.
TikTok. If you live in Tampa, if you support Trump, this is for you. I am prepared to go to jail today. There's a strong possibility that I may end up in jail, maybe not, I don't.
That's right, premeditated assault. This guy posted on social media that he was prepared to go to jail, and he posted his Cash App and PayPal. I'm not saying that you should send him an invoice to both PayPal and Cash App, but you should definitely do that. And then, if you don't care about the outcome, it'd be a real shame if you were to dispute the transaction. Don't do anything crazy like ask for 4 figures. Keep it under like $100. Anyway, Evan Sargent is another MAGA fuckface ass clown and convicted January 6th insurrectionist who showed up to No Kings protest with intent to cause mayhem. Except that Evan got run off by the protesters who were fellow Florida man and Florida woman people that were not having any of his bullshit. Go Florida. And oh, by the way, as if posting videos of your intent to try and cause violence wasn't already evidence of what fucking scum these deplorables are, Evan has also been charged with petty theft and grand theft auto for other unrelated things. Anyway, I'm about 99.999% positive that this clown never served in the military, so I'm going to start calling him Evan Not a Sergeant. The best part out of all of this is not only was he driven out of a peaceful protest after talking a bunch of shit, but there's video of Evan crying and run away. What a bitch. You fucking cuck. First of all, you failed at an insurrectionist and then you got run off by a bunch of peaceful liberals. Oh my God, what a beta bitch-made cuck you are. Now, we're going to talk about a guy named Cowboy. Unfortunately, I don't have any other identifying information on him other than his nickname, but I know 3 other dudes who go by the nickname Cowboy as if that's their given name, and they are all fucking douchebags. This guy is no different, except apparently this yokel haram dude showed up to a protest with a bunch of kids, literal kids. I don't know if they were related or if they're just like fucking sycophants or whatever. Every single one of them, including this Cowboy, was wearing a plate carrier that didn't have any plates in it. If you don't know what a plate carrier is, let me explain to you. It's essentially a tactical military vest, sometimes co-opted by law enforcement because, of course, they would. And it's basically body armor. The plates can be removed so that you can easily store it. Basically, if you're wearing a plate carrier without the plates in it, you're telling the world that you're a fucking idiot and that you are literally cosplaying a commando. You know, like any good MAGA cosplay treat does. Good job, Cowboy. Speaking of clown boys, in Atlanta, reports indicate that a dozen Proud Boys tried to disrupt protests in the city known for the Dirty South. What actually happened was the clown boys got run off too. They tried starting shit in the center of the protest, and then they got manhandled by the crowd and shoved out. And then, after they get shunted off to the edge of the protest, they get shut down, and I mean fucking shut down, by a bunch of band geek mafia dudes, like guys with literal brass instruments. There's like a tuba, there's some drums, there's like a bass saxophone, and I don't even remember what else I saw in the video, but it was fucking hilarious. Here's a bunch of fucking Proud Boy clown boys wearing their little black and gold t-shirts, and one dude up front who looks like a cosplayer from the fucking Meal Team 6 Gravy Seals, Yokel Haram, Y'all Qaeda motherfucker, standing there getting shouted at by brass instruments. The only thing that could have made this better was if, like, the band was Too Many Zoos and the guy playing the saxophone was doing his fancy footwork and shit. If you've never seen Too Many Zoos, go look these dudes up. They are wild as fuck. Anyway, Clown Boys got shut down by the crowd, pushed out of off to the edge, and then run out of the protest by a brass band playing, I don't even know what the tune was, but it was amazing. And Clown Boys showed up to other places as well, and they also got shown the door there too. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? We ain't afraid of these chuckle fucks. There are several other instances where some deranged Trump supporter showed up to a protest with a gun. Phoenix, Arizona was another one. And thankfully, the cops were actually doing their jobs instead of macing protesters. Now, I know I talk a lot of shit on video. I use abusive, demeaning language to show my complete disdain for MAGA fuckface ass clowns. I promise you that I am this obnoxious in real life, and I have told MAGA hat-wearing people to go fuck themselves in person, face-to-face, and called them traitors, because I straight don't give a fuck. I can back my shit up if need be, and apropos of nothing, I'm just going to say that Big Sarge is always strapped if I step outside. I conceal carry because it's my goddamn constitutional right to do so, but also because I am a trained expert with decades of experience handling weapons, which is a very convenient segue, not the scooter, into Salt Lake City, where a man was killed when safety marshals, allegedly from the organization 50501, which I've mocked on camera before. I can't say for certain that they were with 50501, but they were safety marshals. They were wearing fluorescent vests and stuff. There was a media report that the safety marshals were from the 50501 organization, not to be confused with 50501 vets, who I'm a member of, and many of the people in Fam of Liberty are a member of that organization. They broke away from 50501 and kept the name. But the safety marshals were allegedly from the Utah 50501 chapter, and Utah 50501 put out a statement that basically didn't confirm, didn't deny, but kind of said we were directly involved. So I'm thinking that's a legitimate piece of information. And I'm not media, so I am just going to report it anyway, because I call it as I see it. Anyway, safety marshals tried some good guy with a gun bullshit and accidentally shot a bystander. See, what had happened was some MAGA fuckface ass clown pulled out a rifle at the Salt Lake City protest and started threatening people. Two safety marshals were armed and responded by drawing down and shooting at the rifle-wielding psychotic nutjob. I don't have all the details on what happened, so I'm just going to skip all the other bullshit, and I'm just going to say this. This is why we need stricter gun control. There is no such thing as a good guy with a gun. But Sarge, I hear you about to ask, then why do you conceal carry? Motherfucker, I conceal carry because if there is an absolutely immediate threat, a clear and present danger where I am absolutely certain that I'm about to go down, I will 100% die on a pile of empty brass if, and I mean if, capital fucking I, capital fucking F in like 700 point font, Comic Sans. If I have exhausted every other option and I'm literally looking face to face with the dude. If I'm in a crowd of people, I am not at all ashamed to admit that I will fucking hunker down and hide. And you fucking should too. Don't be a fucking hero, because what's going to happen is You'll be in a crowd and some clown starts shooting, right? And it's your moment. Oh, then some hero-minded tryhard is going to pull out his gun and he's going to go be Johnny on the spot. What do you think is going to happen when that guy, when you and another good guy with a gun don't know that each other are the good guys with the gun? Somebody's going to get shot. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not a coward. I've been tested before. I'll put myself between you and harm's way. I will lay down my life for you, but I'm not about to fire bullets for you and end up killing a random bystander, or even worse, taking a bad guy down at the same time cops arrive and decide to light me up too. And yes, I realize I'm white and would probably just get a stern talking to by police, but that's not the point. Anyway, only good morons with a gun shoot into a crowd to try to stop a shooter. So an innocent bystander was killed by friendly fire because two fucking wannabes who aren't fucking cops, and it's not their fucking job, decided they were gonna be a fucking hero. I hate to sound callous. I am sorry that an innocent person got killed, but y'all motherfuckers with the hero complex, you are more dangerous than MAGA fuckface ass clowns with a gun. Point blank, I said it. Now, this has already been a fucking rant and a half, so I'm gonna skip my usual disclaimers that I do at the end. So in closing, I just want to say, first of all, I'm kind of borrowing this from Admin James. Despite several instances of violence, some of which resulted in death, it did not stop, nor did it deter people from across the country in engaging in one of the most massive protests in American history. Yes, some people didn't come home and some people didn't live to see another dawn, but we fucking won this shit, y'all. This is our victory to celebrate. In Minnesota, despite a shelter-in-place order, despite 2 local protests being canceled, and for good reason, despite all of that, some 80,000 Minnesotans turned out to protest anyway. The lack of people giving in to fear is a major victory. We are unconquerable. That is a powerful message. Across the country, not only did you say, I pledge allegiance to no king, but you also said, I am not afraid of MAGA. You had MAGA fuckface ass clowns and wannabe commandos and cosplay patriots show up and try to intimidate you or beat your ass. And no amount of intimidation, no amount of fear, no amount of flashing your guns deterred you. Good job, America. I am fucking proud of you. Oh, and for you cops that were out there pepper spraying protesters, you're a fucking bitch-made cuck too. So fuck the police. That is my time for today. Big Sarge out here. 2 claps and a Rick. 1 team, 1 fight. Join or die. Woo!
And now it's time for the Throatpunch!
Despite all of that, some 80,000 Minnesotans, yes, I said Minnesotans, because Minnesota,